we are now at the halfway mark of Doomsday Clock by DC Comics, aka Jeff Johns writing the Doomsday Clock series. This issue doesn't really have much going on. It more along the lines focuses on the origin of Marionette and Mime. And also we get some segues with the Joker and Batman. And some other characters that I didn't know other than the Riddler and the somewhat to an extent the Court of Owls. So, anyways, we had opened up with this story. Now, wait, I just realized I had to explain something I didn't talk about in the initial video about Doomsday Clock. I didn't mention about my theory about what it means for the implications of the DC universe and if Dr. Manhattan created it or not. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. There are only two theories where this can go with. A, they can go with the DC theory that, with the theory that Dr. Manhattan did create the DC universe, since Watchmen has DC Comics, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and they've mentioned that in the comics that the characters do exist, they're just comics in the Watchmen universe, but in the DC universe they're real. So either A, Dr. Manhattan read them and created that universe, or B, they go with my interpretation of multiverse theory, which I used in my fanfiction. That anything created could exist in a parallel universe. So, infinite possibilities. So yeah, we're going with that. And also another theory I had about how Dr. Manhattan might be Jonathan Kent and Dr. Manhattan disguising as him. Yeah, there's a lot of theory I could go with that. Mostly it would be fucked up and disturbing if I go ahead and say, I don't know, that Dr. Manhattan somehow became the thing that is used to create kids and influenced Lois Lane to name him John as just some tie to humanity, to try and grasp some form of humanity to see if he can start again. But like, yeah, if they really go with that, I'm pretty sure they'll explain it somehow, but it would be really effing dark if they did that. To realize that Superman and Lois Lane's kid doesn't really exist and is actually a psychopathic murderer. Well, a psychopathic with a god complex who's now thinking he can control the fate of an entire multiverse. But I digress. So, we had seen these segues with Marionette and her origin, along with seeing how she and Mime are interacting with the Joker. Well, Mime is a mute. We never get an explanation why he doesn't talk. Apparently, they're hinting that maybe it's because since his stepdad is probably abusive, it might have something to do with him that caused him to shut out everything. But, the Joker, he's really fun. Now, at first I didn't like a little bit of his design, but when I was reading this more in this issue, I actually kind of grew onto it. And, yeah, Batman is chained up in a wheelchair, and he's unconscious throughout the entire issue. Yeah, I'm a little amazed by that. The great Batman is helpless and at the mercy of the Joker. That's honestly kind of shocking considering how DC likes to push Batman as God. Anyways, honestly, yeah, it seems like Mime and Marionette don't seem to know how to function with the Joker. Like, everything he does is the exact opposite. He completely is crazy. And also, Mr. Freeze, that guy, Freeze, from Batman the Animated Series, yeah, his henchmen are wearing heavy coats when, the Joker encounters them with Mime and Marionette, and they go ahead and basically go with this angle where the Joker says this: "Then I have a proposition for you lost souls. A frighteningly delicious, wonderful proposition. Ditch the parkas and join the Joker." And then they consider it. "These are goddamn hot. And for all we know, Freeze is dead." And then someone argues that, "Are you both out of your minds? At least Freeze is predictable. Save his wife. Rob to pay for it. Blah, blah, blah. But the Joker, who knows whatever he wants? So, yeah. And then I had realized, wait, where's Harley Quinn? Is she not here? I never read the New 52. So, I'm all confused and everything. Where's Harley Quinn? It's just weird nowadays, I bet, for some people to see the Joker without a Harley Quinn now. Especially in mainstream TV shows that they're reading the comics. So, yeah, there's this guy that pops on showing this tattoo artist, and as they're showing this process, we get more flashbacks showing how Marionette was actually the daughter of a owner of a puppet shop. And yeah, we see hints. We don't really see them, but we get hints that there's an abusive going on at the apparently at a store called Maze Glass. The angle's not really confirmed on that. And Marionette's facial expressions, she's able to replicate them as like she never got old, and considering this is comics, that's kind of a given. And Marionette likes to want to meet this boy, so she's interested in him already. And sure enough, her name is revealed to be Erica. And she can't seem to get a name out of this kid because, well, his name's Marco. So, insert Marco Polo jokes if you want. But as I was saying, she shows him around the store of her family and whatnot. And it's kind of awesome. It's kind of cute and whatnot. Like, probably since mine and Marionette are a couple when they get older. So this is basically going into we're going to have the tragedy moment. So enjoy this for what you can. Another angle they show is, well, these characters are basically these innocent youths, and then in the Watchmen universe, it's kind of an ugly place. So we know that innocence is going to die out. And as we get back into the present time, we see that they're tattooing a guy, and then the Joker says this. Alright then, I'm in a generous mood. Apology accepted, you two. Because my Marionette hints that they're apologizing, though really they're probably not. And basically offers, hey, do you want to join me? And then then Marionette looks at this contemplating look on her face and says, as in tattooed by Mr. Jitters over there? Pass. And then they both mine and Marionette proceed to kill their captives, their captors, and proceeds to goes in and gouges someone's eyes out. Yeah, that's pretty signs. And then the Joker's just freaking out to an extent, making puns, saying, "Oh no, oh my, don't lose your heads, boys." And it shows that Marionette rips someone's head off. And the Joker puts a gun onto Mime, and he shoots one of his henchmen. And he says, "Oops, that's embarrassing." And everyone's just in awe. And I'm like, considering the Joker's unpredictable, I think they just lost a few henchmen. I think he just lost some henchman potential. So, the Joker goes in and just laughs and then says, "I'm joking. Well played. Come on now, everyone. We don't want to be late. To be later than we already are." And then we go back into the past and showing that Marionette Erica is very bullied by people. And they say some things that in the 1980s would condemn some kids for saying such language, but considering how the modern era has become, that's a different matter. And yeah, these bullies are more vicious than you expect in the modern era, unless there was a twisted mental condition. But I have the opinion of they're fucking inhuman devils. So, nothing's really changed in society then in the Watchmen universe. And the future Mind goes in and throws a glass bottle at somebody, and at this one of the kids, and saves Erica. And the bully tries to escape, and after she demands an apology to the bully, she just turns to Marco and says, "Got any more bottles?" So implying that they're going to most likely mutilate this girl in the worst possible way. So, yeah, yeah, it's shown that there's this group of villains that are being gathering together for a big conference meeting, basically, at a train station that looks abandoned. And apparently this is all part of the new reason to form a new organization. So basically they're hinting that the organization is, yeah. Also, we get some exposition about where the hell is Wonder Woman. We've seen Superman and Batman. We don't know where Wonder Woman's at. And apparently one of the villains is saying that there are rumors that the Amazons kidnapped Wonder Woman and dragged her back to Themyscira. So, yeah, that's a sign. And then we get this weird character that's all blue. Okay, basically I like to call him Dr. Manhattan with with red hair. So, yeah, and considering that the whole yeah, and they also explain that yeah, the whole world's on the verge of chaos with the superhuman war. And yeah, this is revealed to be Typhoon. I have never heard this character. I had to look up Comics Explained, so you're going to have to look him up to talk where he discusses about this character. And then I read up in the when the Riddler is discussing about this, he asked, how did you acquire those powers of yours? And then Typhoon explains, I got blown up in a nuclear bath spear. I'm not a government puppet. Nor I, God knows. And yeah, it's explained that it's revealed in a gigantic retcon for a villain who is apparently a Firestorm villain, that Typhoon might be a government agent. Might. So there might be more to that Superman theory than what was given. So the Joker goes ahead and presents Batman when he says, "Ladies and gentlemen," and the Riddler just goes, "Not him. Not now. This is my moment." And he presents Mind and Marionette, and then we get into another sequence of her past and showing how there are dirty cops. Yeah. So, yeah, that's good. Apparently they're demanding extortion money on the grounds of, it's not pretty good. You see, it's revealed that, and from the hinting is showing, we learned that the name is Marcos from a police officer, somehow, from Maze Glass, and yeah. Apparently the mother's dead. Apparently she took quite a fall, which means the stepfather abused her to death. Oh, only in the Watchmen universe could this actually make any legitimate sense. And sure enough, Erica is surprised about Marcos, and yeah. So yeah, apparently they're demanding money from him because, he's an immigrant, so they're extorting him for money. And sure enough, Erica starts to know some signs that something seems uncomfortably wrong. But then we go back into the future, to the present of the multiverse of DC, and Marionette says, Marionette hears Two-Face say, "Who is that? Who's the Batman? I mean, this time." So it's indicated that, the Joker, considering this is the Joker, it's gonna be expected. He asks, "What do you mean this time, Harvey?" And the Scarecrow points out the freaking obvious. "How many fools have you dressed up like Batman and peddled around, Joker?" "A few, I admit." "I see. I bet it's another one of Arkham's guards. Let's see." And then the Riddler tries to take back the stage. "Please stay on topic and on me. Before we make a decision on what we're going to do as the League of Villainy, we need to ensure that none of us are two-faced rats. No offense, Harvey Dent." And the Penguin says, "I say we escort Typhoon out of here." And Typhoon blows them away and threatens to suck out their brains out of their ears. And it looks like a war is about to break out underground, where he proclaims, "I will kill every goddamn one of," and then his head explodes. Way to see this faux Dr. Manhattan impersonator. Seems like the Watchmen fans are going crazy now. So now that Dr. Manhattan's impersonator is dead. And sure enough, Typhoon, he has no value whatsoever, so basically no one's going to miss him for a long time. And then Marionette just says, "Oh shit." And it's revealed who fired at them. The comedian. And of course the Joker notices, because it's the Joker. And the comedian proceeds to beat the living shit out of everybody in his path with guns. Whereas Mime is trying to distract him. And Marionette doesn't want that because, she keeps trying to demand that, "No, you're not going to take the fall for this." And the Joker is reveling in all this chaos, saying, "What a perfect day this turned out to be!" And she keeps, and then we get another flashback sequence showing the extortion going on, and then Erica's witnessing all this and basically having to see her father get beaten up and then is being threatened with death. And after that, it gets worse. Marcos and Marionette, Mime and Marionette as the kids, they go back to Marionette's place, and then they see her father had hung himself. And as the note is explaining what it was said, she proceeds to snap and basically embrace her inner darkness, where she proceeds to kill the cops, the dirty cops, and Mime helps and protects her when one of them pulls a gun on her, and then Marionette strangles them to death, strangles the last one to death. And then they run away, and then as we get a sequence back and forth of the past and the present, they're arguing and whatnot, and Marionette says that, saying that you're not leaving, you're not going to die so I can run, saying that they're in this together and whatnot, and how they've always been with each other, and how they've always been there, and how she's always been able to smile in this dark fucking crazy world, and proceeds to kiss him and have a night of fucking passion. Also, we get a flashback sequence showing that the day that she was in labor and giving birth to her child, and then they take the baby away. And of course, afterwards, she says Marcos. So they're no longer doing the game of Mime and Marionette. This is Erica and Marcos now, saying that they want to find their baby. And the comedian finds them, is about to shoot them, and then he gets zapped from behind by the Joker. And then the Joker just says, "Oh, joy, I like you too. You make me laugh. I was just thinking." And then, then Marionette and Mime are up and they're naked. And they were thinking that maybe the comedian knows where Dr. Manhattan is. And I'm just thinking, well, you should know that Dr. Manhattan. Well, you should know the comedian was dead if the news talked about it. Unless they do talk about the news in prison. So Dr. Manhattan probably has a role in this. It could be easy to deduce. So, yeah. And the Joker wonders, who's Dr. Manhattan? I could use a good dentist. It hurts when I smile, after he picks up the button of the comedian. And that means they're hinting that the agent of chaos is going to meet the agent of order. So, yeah, that's not going to end well for someone. Now, someone in Comics Explains video of Doomsday Clock about issue number 6 says that maybe they're hinting that maybe the Joker is the son of Mine and Marionette. And I'm thinking, for several things here's the thing I'm just going to say. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but I'm not saying it's a good idea to give the Joker an origin story. It just wouldn't surprise me if they did that. Why doesn't it surprise me that they would retcon the Joker and explain that he has a backstory? It's because they're making a Joker origin movie. That's the only reason. That's the only reason I would think why DC would let this happen. So, because they're making an origin story for the Joker in a movie, they might as well just give him an origin story in the comic universe. Oh, and it's revealed that the Joker has cartwheeled Batman all the way to this unknown dingy hotel and whatnot. So, and Batman is still unconscious. So, congrats, Batman. You're still useless. And you've gotten your ass kicked by civilians, and you're still chained up, and you should be having 50 different scenarios right now how you're going to escape. Yeah, so, notice that we didn't focus on Ozymandias or Rorschach 2 or anyone really, just Mime, Marionette, and the comedian of the Watchmen universe. But, yeah, this is the chapter where someone might say, well, nothing really happened of significance other than the comedian being captured. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to get the Agent of Chaos with the Agent of Order meeting eventually. Which means the Joker is royally screwed. So, yeah, that was the entirety of issue 6 of Doomsday Clock. This is the halfway point. We still got 6 issues to go. Wonder Woman still has seen no signs of appearing yet. So I'm hoping they show her up in this. I would like to see how she'll handle against Dr. Manhattan, since they have to hint that this is going to end in a fight. It'd be a little interesting if they didn't do a fight, because, well, the Watchmen universe didn't really end in a big epic fight. It just ended with more talking and basically having a moral debate and one person dying by being imploded by Dr. Manhattan, which I'll talk about when I get to my Watchmen video. The graphic novel version, not the movie version yet. But, yeah, I did enjoy this. I liked the development between Mine and Marionette. We got to know who they were, their pain, their suffering, and how this is basically reminding me of the DCEU's version of the Joker and Harley Quinn, where the Joker is this psychopathic murdering scumbag, but Harley Quinn is able to let the Joker open up to her to a minor extent. Yeah, that's the one thing I actually like about Jared Leto's Joker. Whereas Heath Ledger's Joker was new and different, this was completely different. They still kept the unknown story of his past, but they go ahead and let the Joker be different. They let him be more open with his feeling with Harley Quinn and actually care about her, have someone he can care about. So, yeah, they can do that. Now, the idea of Joker being the son of Mine and Marionette, okay, here's the thing about that. It wouldn't surprise me, because since they're making a Joker origin movie, And they did technically do an origin story for Jerome, who might as well be the Joker, but they can't really, for some reason, say the Joker on TV for some reason. Yeah, I think they said in an interview that they can't use the name Joker on the television show for reasons. So, yeah, that still confuses me. And in the... Technically, Alan Moore's The Killing Joke gave an origin story, but that's still not really explaining who the Joker is, because the Joker himself says that he doesn't even remember himself and how he just prefers multiple choice. So they could retcon it as a way to say, well, maybe Dr. Manhattan took the baby after the police took the child, because, let's be real, when we last saw the Watchmen Earth, it was under the guise of nuclear war. By now, the bombs have already dropped and the child would be dead. So Mighty Marionettes should realize that by now. So maybe they think that Dr. Manhattan took the child somewhere, and maybe it's the Joker, but that would retcon so much stuff. Like, maybe he didn't really give the Joker an origin story, made him forget and made him go crazy, or something. Like, I just don't find the idea a good idea for the comic Joker, because everyone's used to the comic version of the Joker and some media adaptations of him to not have an origin story, and every time he does give an origin about himself, it's always BS and whatnot. So the idea of an origin for the Joker in the DC comic universe, yeah, that's probably not going to make anyone happy, because in fact there were some people that were iffy on the whole, why is the comedian alive? Because if so, does that mean the events of Watchmen don't actually happen and this is all just one big giant paradox? Okay, basically, the only way I could find a way to explain how the comedian is alive and how he can be dead in the Watchmen timeline is basically how I came up in my fanfiction. Basically, Dr. Manhattan teleported the comedian, but time or something keeps a copy version of the comedian in that moment and he dies. But yeah, I'm really complicating things and tying too much of my fanfiction stories into this. So anyways, those were, so I thought Doomsday Clock issue number 6 was freaking awesome, and I really loved the backstory between Maya and Marionette and the tragedy together, and how if one dies out, then they can't function, they can't survive without the other, and how they actually care about each other, and despite being murderous psychos, and how in reality they just want to find their kid. This is all their motive they have. They want to find their boy. So we're going to have to see where this goes, and I can't wait for that. We have 6 more issues after this to complete the series, and after that there's going to be a big change and whatnot. I wonder who else is joining in. I wonder how they're going to resolve the Great Superhuman War, the Meta War, basically. How they're going to resolve Dr. Manhattan, how they're going to save the Watchmen Earth, or is Ozymandias and the other Watchmen group going to be teleported to the DC universe to live in now, since the other Earth is probably destroyed. So really, we're going to have to wait and see for these next 6 issues. So those were my thoughts on DC Comics Doomsday Clock issue number 6. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.